Welcome into On the Mark with Anita Marks. That is me. I'm wearing my Knicks. Who am I wearing? I'm wearing Brunson. That's right. Clutch Player of the Year, baby. Why? Because the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Championship. Can you believe it? Somebody pinched me. Nobody gave them a shot, right? Let's be honest. Nobody gave them a shot to beat the Boston Celtics. Now, I did. If you watch me on ESPN Bet, I said play the Knicks in 7. You, of course, would have lost that bet, but you were getting it at 11-1, and I said, there's a shot, there's a chance, but also I told you to play it just in case if it did go to game 6, then you could hedge it, and you could still win some money. But nonetheless, I think I was the only person on the planet saying, take the Knicks in 7. Regardless, they did beat the Boston Celtics, and let's be honest, it wasn't because Jason Tatum went down. The Knicks dominated that series even before Jason Tatum went down, right? I mean, going up 2-0 in the series. I mean, let's get serious. So what happens now? So the Knicks now take on the Indiana Pacers. And this is going to be a fantastic series. So let's talk about the futures first. And then I'll give you my game picks for game 1. So first things first, I'm taking the Knicks in 7. Same thing as I said with the Boston Celtics, but I'm more confident here. It's not about hedging your bet when you get to game 6. I truly believe that this Knicks team can beat the Pacers in 7. I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park. I don't think this is going to be easy. I don't think that there's going to be a game where it's going to be a blowout. I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag out, heavyweight fight between these two teams. I think the Pacers are excellent. I think the Pacers could very easily win this series as well. But I am leaning more towards the Knicks, and I'll get into all the reasons why. Let's be honest, this is the first time the Knicks have made it to the Eastern Conference Championship in 25 years. We know that the Garden is going to be rocking. Of course, if you can afford a ticket, the least expensive ticket you could get is $800, and you've got to bring Kleenex because your nose is bleeding. And I was reading where the most expensive ticket, $108,000, with the VIP right there, front row on the court, $108,000. It's just insane. Needless to say, you know, and if you saw the videos after the Knicks beat the Boston Celtics, man, this city is going to be incredible. So I think home court advantage is going to be huge, and considering that the Knicks do have home court advantage, another reason why I'm leaning towards the Knicks. Indiana 29-12 at home, the Knicks 27-14. So both these teams play extremely well at home. And both these teams are evenly matched, okay? The Pacers, as we know, coming in second best offensive rating in the NBA in the postseason. They're averaging 117 points a game. Knicks faced the Pacers 3 times in the regular season, ended up 2-1 in that series, but with a point differential of plus 27. Why? And what I think is the big reason I'm leaning towards the Knicks, not just home court advantage, but size. Size is the reason. The Knicks, in the 3 games that they played, the Pacers out-rebounded them 130-101. Outscored the Pacers in the paint 186-166. Towns has owned this matchup, okay? Averaging 30 points and 12 rebounds a game. And oh, by the way, as we know, now they have Mitch Robinson back. So now you talk about a team that I think is going to be uber dominant in the paint. And again, a big reason why they went 2-1 and had that plus 27 point differential. On top of that, I think Bridges matches up well with Halliburton. I think OG is a perfect fit for Siakam. I think that both these teams match up with each other extremely well. And again, at the end of the day, the big reason why I'm taking the Knicks is because I think the best player on the court is wearing a Knicks uniform. In fact, I'm wearing his t-shirt, and that's Brunson, Clutch Player of the Year. Let's be honest. I mean, when the game is, I'm gonna send this back out to our viewers, our listeners, and please, we love that you subscribe, watch, like, more than anything, comment. I'm curious. Who do you feel is the more clutch player heading into this tournament? Who do you think the best player is on the court in this tournament? For me, 7 days a week and twice on Wednesday night, I'm saying that it's Jalen Brunson. but I can understand how somebody would say Halliburton. I can. Very few, if any, Knicks fans, because typically Knicks fans, as we know, hate Halliburton. But nonetheless, another big reason why I think the Knicks win this series, and I think they win in 7. Again, Brunson being the more clutch player, the Knicks having a lot more in regard to the bigs inside the paint, having that factor, which I think is a really big reason why they went 2-1 in the regular season. And again, home court advantage. The Garden is just going to be out of control. So again, I've got the Knicks winning the series in 7. I think the series is going to go the distance. Also, here's another futures bet for you. I got Brunson winning the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. As I said, best player on the court, clutch down the stretch. 5th in the playoffs in points per game. He's averaging 28 and 8 assists per game as well. Big time buckets. That's what happens when you put the ball in Brunson's hands, especially on the free throw. When he goes to the free throw, when he gets fouled late in the games and he goes to free throw lines, he's like money. It's like money. So again, that's how I'm playing the futures. Knicks in 7 and Brunson to win the Eastern Conference MVP. But I'll tell you what, I'm not the only person on this podcast. We have a special guest who's going to be joining us, former NBA player, played in the NBA for 13 seasons, 7 teams, even coached on the Utah Jazz. Let's see if he's on the same side I am heading into this series. Keyon Dooling, what say you? All right, Keyon, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
I know how valuable your time is, especially this time of the year. And let's talk about the Knicks, because this city is a buzz.
Yes.
This city is off the charts. I don't think the video that you saw on TV does it justice in regard to just how excited this city is that the Knicks have made it this far. And let's be honest, nobody gave them a shot to beat the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I didn't initially, because I thought the Celtics would have the privilege of having their best player, Jason Tatum. And obviously he went down. And so, like, that's the thing about, like, being in the hurt business. Like, right, you're one injury away, you're one bad call away, like, there's so many factors that happen. All the stars have to align to, like, kind of continue to elevate throughout the playoffs. And it's a part of the game, right? There's been a lot of guys who've gone down in the playoffs. But, like, one thing about the Knicks, man, they're united. They're together. They have the best closer in basketball. I think that team embodies Coach Thibodeau in just his disposition. And so, yeah, it's fun to see the city coming out. Like, they're the mecca of basketball, and it's been an extreme drought there. So I'm happy for the New York Knicks fans, man. The game is better when ball is good in New York.
Well, what's so great about having you on the podcast with us, on the show with us, is because you've been there, right? 13 seasons, 7 teams. What are these guys going, like, have they slept in the last 24 to 40? Like, what are they going through mentally, emotionally, getting ready for one series away of going to the championship?
You know what? Like, it's funny. I played in 3 conference finals. And the intensity of the playoffs, that, like, most people can't imagine how much mental, physical, emotional, and even spiritual, force you have to bring to the table in order to compete on that level every other day. And then you're playing the same team, so there's no secrets. Everybody knows your plays, your cadence, your rhythms. They know your best moves. They know your go-to. And so, man, I think these guys are really focused. I think both teams think they have an opportunity to win in this series. But for me, just like falling in love with the game, to see the Pacers and the Knicks back at it, it just kind of, puts me in the mind frame of, like, Reggie Miller just, looking at Spike Lee. So it's great, for the New York fans. It's great for the fans of basketball.
Yeah, listen, a lot of history there for sure. All right, well, let's talk. Let's do a deeper dive into this series, because I'm curious. I have the Knicks winning in 7. I think it's going to go the distance. I think each game is going to be a nail biter. I think they're going to, I wouldn't be shocked if the Pacers win, but my pick is the Knicks in 7. I'm just curious if we're on the same side. Big reason why I'm leaning the Knicks: home court advantage. Indiana 29-12 at home, Knicks 27-14, and as I said, This city is electric. You played for the Nets. You
Yeah,
know how insane this city is
yeah.
on a regular season game for Knicks fans. So I think the Garden is going to be out of control.
It's going to be rocking. I agree with you. I think the Knicks will win this series. I think they have an opportunity to redeem themselves from losing to the Pacers. You know what I mean? So there's some extra motivation. I think they are better this year, collectively getting Bridges and getting, the big cat, the big bodega in there, right? I just think that, like, their starting five, they play heavy minutes. They log a lot of minutes, but in the playoffs, that's not a unnatural thing. That happens all the time. The rotation does shrink. So yeah, I do give the Knicks the edge, but I think it's a very balanced series. And if somebody goes down, you know what I mean, on either team, you know what I mean, I think that could be something that we have to watch for.
You mentioned Towns, the big cat. Listen, he's owned this matchup all year, averaging 30 points and 12 rebounds. And now, and I would love to get your analysis on this, just like how different this team is with Mitch Robinson back.
Yeah.
So how strong they are in the paint, which I think really could be the Achilles heel as to why and how they take the Pacers down.
Yeah, well, you know what? The front court matchup is very intriguing. I know we talk a lot about, Halliburton and Brunson in that matchup, which I give the edge to Brunson on. I think he was the best point guard in the NBA this year. I think he should be first team all NBA this year. He's the closer, he's the clutch player of the year. And he has this little toughness in that little package that you just can't teach. He doesn't have the physical traits that most guys have, but he's just a great basketball player and he's ultra competitive. You can never measure someone's heart. But up front, man, I think that's where the rubber meets the road. Obviously, Indiana is very tough up front with Pascal Siakam, with Miles Turner, and then with Obi Toppin kind of coming off the bench. They have, a very good front court who are versatile. They're very aggressive defensively. They do a great job. Turner can stretch the floor. Siakam can play the mid-range game, and he's an X factor for the Pacers in this series. And he's a proven champion. He won a championship with the Raptors, being the second best player on their team. But, at the end of the day, I just think that there's so much continuity with those Villanova guys. I think Cat has an opportunity to kind of, rub some mud on the Timberwolves' face for, kind of getting rid of him. And I'm going to give the Knicks the edge. I won't say how many games, but I think they'll be the first to four.
You mentioned Brunson saying that you feel that he's the best player
In the series.
the best point guard. I'm curious, so clutch, and not to take anything away from Halliburton, but if you could choose one or the other in regard to a game 7, game on the line, 5 seconds left in the game, somebody's got to take that shot. Who is it for you? Is it Brunson or is it Halliburton?
Well, you know what? Halliburton has made some incredible plays, like Reggie Miller-esque, with, the play that he made against the Cavaliers when he missed the free throw, got the rebound, dribbled it out, got in his bag, and hit, the three for the game. And so, I don't want to, minimize his clutch gene, but just from an analytical standpoint and history, Brunson is that guy. He's done it on every level. He's done it on the high school level. He's done it at Villanova, winning championships. And also, in the NBA, he has been, I think statistically, the best player in the clutch all year. That says a lot about him. So I give that edge to Brunson.
All right. So we both have the Knicks winning the series. Again, I have it going the distance to 7.
I would
Do
love
you
to
have
see
it go? You have it going to 7 or less than that?
You know what? It's always difficult for me to predict how many games. I always look at it as it's like the first to 4, right? And so I think the Knicks will get to 4 before the Pacers do.
Okay, that's fair. And then let's talk about game 1. This is an Indiana Pacers team.
Yeah.
They're getting 4.5. The Knicks are favored by 4.5. Also, this is a Pacers team. Their over/under win total, our score total is 109.5.
Okay.
So I guess first things first. 4.5. Is that too many points? Just enough?
No.
Like how do you see game 1 going?
No, usually if I do any gambling, I go with the under. just from a philosophy standpoint. But I think the Knicks will win the first game. I think the Pacers have, because they took care of business in the against the Cavaliers, they've been kind of sitting back and resting. And rest is a good thing, especially in the playoffs when you're dealing with injuries. But we've seen teams like Oklahoma City come out sluggish after, having a little bit of a layoff. And so I'm wondering if they won't be, the Knicks are fresh off a battle test against the Celtics. They're clicking on all cylinders. I think they're feeding off of the fans and the energy in that city, and that does really make a difference. And I know Indiana is a building that rocks as well, but really, man, there's really no energy like that New York City energy, especially during the playoffs. So I like the Knicks
Uh,
the first game.
okay, so all right. So before we let you go, last thing for
No problem.
you.
Talk to me.
Last
Talk
thing
to me.
for you, like you're like we've got the Knicks. Let's say the Knicks make it through, and they're sitting there, and they're heading into the championship. Which is the better matchup for them? Like I think OKC is the best team in the NBA.
I agree.
So I don't know if they can beat OKC. I think they could beat the Timberwolves. I don't think they could. I've got OKC winning the whole thing. I just think that they arguably might be one of the best teams ever constructed in the history of the NBA. Just my 2 cents.
So, Anita, it's pretty safe to say that we're kindred. We see it a lot alike.
Okay.
So that's a great thing. But yeah, I agree. I think Oklahoma City, it'll be their year to win the championship. I think they'll bring it all the way home. So I do believe that the Knicks would match up better with the Timberwolves because there's so many understories and underlying stories with that, right? Tibbs used to coach there. Cat got traded for Julius Randle. You know what I mean? There's something there, right? But the X factor with the Timberwolves is that they have this kid who's from Georgia, right? He's a country boy from Georgia, and his name is Anthony Edwards, and he loves the spotlight. And the Knicks in the championship will be the biggest spotlight, and he thrives in that kind of environment. And so they still have a swingers chance, but I think the best track for the Knicks to win it all is if the Timberwolves take out OKC and then they have that small market matchup in the championship in the NBA Finals.
Man, can you imagine the Knicks winning the championship?
If
This city will. I don't even know.
you
I don't
know,
even know. But the parade of down, the champions is going to be it's just going to be off the. I just think New
yeah.
York is the best sports city in the country,
Ooh,
and
ooh.
if the next. All right, last question for you. Giants, Jets, because you were here, right? You
I
spent
did.
time. You
I
played
played
for the
there.
Nets.
I
You know
spent two
this
years
fan
with the
base, right?
Nets. I know the area.
Giants, Jets, Yankees, Mets, Knicks. What is
Rangers.
Rangers? What is the biggest parade of champions with whatever franchise wins?
Look,
I think hands down it's the Knicks.
it would be the Knicks. It would be bigger than the Thanksgiving and the Christmas parade. It would be that kind of impact, and I'd imagine old Blue Eyes would be playing somewhere in the background saying New York. You know what I mean? I think it would be good for that city. Like at the end of the day, like New Yorkers have always been hard on us Florida boys as athletes, right? Because they used to get all the fame, all the hype, the opportunities, and so they thought we were country bumpkins. And so it was good to like hear their silence for a while. But I think it's time, you know what I mean, that we bring basketball back to New York. And I'm excited for the Knicks and the opportunity that they have.
Hey, great having you on the show with us. Really do
Of course,
appreciate it.
Anita.
Enjoy the series, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for having me. Blessings.
All right, I want to thank having Keyon on with us. Let's talk about game one, and let's give you some picks and plays. Again, I think it's really important that I preface by saying I've got the Knicks winning the series, but game one, I do like the Pacers getting the points. 4.5, 5.5 in some places. If you can get them at 5.5, I think these games are going to be close. I think these games are going to come down to the wire. This is an Indiana Pacers team. They've covered 6 of their last 7 on the road, 8 of their last 11 overall. They've got about a 55% chance to cover the 4.5 spread. If you get them at 5.5, good for you. at the end of the day, they play exceptional perimeter defense. Let's keep in mind they held Cleveland, the Cavs, to below 30% from 3-point range. Top 10 team in 3-point defense during the regular season. So I think that's going to be a big key for them. I'm also going to play the Pacers over 109.5 total points. They're averaging 118, 117, 118 in the playoffs, second best in offensive efficiency. 6 of their last 9 games have gone over 109 points. They lead the postseason in assist to turnover ratio, and their bench isn't half bad. And their bench, I think, is going to be a problem for the Knicks, because let's keep in mind the Knicks starters have played 140 more minutes than the Indiana Pacers starters. So talk about not having those fresh legs. And I'm going to repeat that again because you need to marinate in that. The Knicks starting 5 has played 140 more minutes than the Indiana Pacers starters. Hence why I think game 1, again, I do believe that the Knicks are going to win. I think all these games are going to be close. I just think Indiana getting the 4.5, and again, if you could get them at 5.5. Also, I think these are going to be high-scoring games. The Pacers over 109.5 points. That's how I'm playing game 1. But again, just a reminder: the futures, Knicks in 7. Also Brunson to win the Eastern Conference MVP. So hey, I want to thank you again for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Getting you locked and loaded for game 1 as well as the series with the Knicks and the Pacers. We're going to have more plays, more content coming your way throughout the NBA postseason. We'll be covering the Knicks. In fact, we're really excited. John Starks is going to join us next week on our next podcast after Memorial Day weekend. So enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. And he's going to be joining us to break it all down with you and us, how the series is evolving. And hopefully it will be evolving in the Knicks' favor, that's for sure. Again, we appreciate you subscribing, listening, and of course commenting on everything we do. And enjoy the series, and we're going to be here for all of it, so stay tuned.